Nicole Kidman filed for divorce from her husband of 19 years.
According to the reporting, they're separated in the early summer, so you're thinking June, and here it is the end of September, so over 3 months of separation.
Nicole Kidman just filed for divorce from Keith Urban after 19 years of marriage, and the timeline reveals something far worse than anyone expected. 3 months ago, Nicole posted a romantic anniversary photo with the caption, "Happy Anniversary, Baby."
Now comes the shocking news that Keith Urban moved out of their home at the beginning of this summer and has his own place in Nashville. There's also a report that he's seeing another woman.
What we've learned is that she really has been fighting hard over the past 3 months or so to save their marriage. This isn't what she wanted.
So even with what I've got now, I've been able to juggle things to accommodate my family.
2 months ago, Keith quietly signed a parenting plan dividing custody of their daughters. 1 month ago, they were still performing their perfect marriage for the cameras. And on September 30th, Nicole filed legal papers in Nashville, ending it all. But here's what makes this devastating. The documents reveal this divorce was planned for months, while both continued posting loving tributes and walking red carpets together. The fairy tale marriage that survived Keith's rehab intervention and 2 decades of fame was already dead. They just hadn't told anyone yet. The question isn't why they're divorcing, it's why they pretended everything was fine while secretly negotiating custody arrangements behind closed doors. Because the worse than we thought part isn't the divorce itself. It's discovering that everything we watched this year was performance, not reality. To understand why this divorce feels like a betrayal to fans who believed in them, you have to understand what Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban represented for nearly 2 decades. They met in 2005 at the G-Day USA Gala in Los Angeles. Both were Australian superstars. Nicole already an Oscar winner, Keith a rising country music phenomenon. They married in Sydney in June 2006, and Nicole had already survived a highly publicized divorce from Tom Cruise. Keith represented her second chance at love. They became Hollywood's power couple in the truest sense. They attended each other's events religiously. Nicole showed up at Keith's concerts. Keith walked red carpets at her movie premieres. They built a life in Nashville with their 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, now 17 and 14. For 19 years, they sold the world on the idea that true love could survive fame, distance, addiction, and the pressures that destroy most celebrity marriages. Keith's tribute to Nicole at her 2024 AFI Lifetime Achievement Awards ceremony had people in tears.
Nicole.
My wife, Nicole Mary, is here tonight. I love you, baby girl. 4 months into our marriage, my addictions that I'd done really nothing about blew our marriage to smithereens, and I went into the Betty Ford Center. Nick pushed through every negative voice, I'm sure even some of her own, and she chose love.
He talked about how she saved him from his demons, how she chose love when most people would have walked away. That's what makes September 30th, 2025 so devastating. Because if this marriage couldn't make it, what hope do any of them have? The timeline of Nicole and Keith's divorce reveals they were planning their separation while publicly celebrating their marriage. In May 2025, they walked the red carpet together at the Academy of Country Music Awards, smiling and holding hands. On June 26th, they celebrated their 19th wedding anniversary. Keith posted a black and white photo with the caption, "Happy Anniversary, Baby." Fans flooded the comments with messages about relationship goals. But here's what the public didn't know. According to court documents, Keith Urban signed the permanent parenting plan on August 1st, 2025. That's just 5 weeks after the anniversary posts. The parenting plan isn't something you draft overnight. It's a detailed legal document outlining custody, finances, and how their daughters' lives would be structured. This means sometime between posting "Happy Anniversary, Baby" and early August, they decided to divorce and began negotiating terms. They hired lawyers, they divided assets, they calculated custody schedules. All while their social media told the world they were happily married. The separation news broke September 29th. Nicole filed for divorce September 30th, but Keith had signed off on everything 6 weeks earlier. Every public appearance, every social media post, every red carpet smile was carefully managed performance while the real story played out behind lawyers' closed doors. To understand the full tragedy, you have to go back to when Nicole saved Keith's life and when their love story became the foundation for everything that followed. 4 months after their June 2006 wedding, Nicole staged an intervention. Keith's alcohol addiction had reached crisis point, and Nicole made the hardest decision a newlywed could make: get help or lose her. Keith entered rehab for 3 months. Most marriages wouldn't survive that trauma so early, but they made it through. Keith got sober and stayed sober. At Nicole's AFI ceremony in April 2024, just 17 months before filing for divorce, Keith gave a tribute that brought Nicole to tears. 4 months into our marriage, I'm in rehab for 3 months. I had no idea what was going to happen to us, and if you want to see what love in action really looks like, give that a whirl. Nick pushed through every negative voice, I'm sure even some of her own, and she chose love. That speech now reads like a eulogy for a marriage that was already dying. Because less than a year and a half later, choosing love apparently wasn't enough anymore. If Nicole could stand by Keith through the darkest period when their marriage was only 4 months old, what could possibly break them after 19 years? The actual evidence points to something less scandalous: a marriage that couldn't survive conflicting careers and constant separation. Nicole was the highest-paid actress in the world in 2024. Keith toured almost constantly. Nicole told The Hollywood Reporter they made effort to have breakfast together every morning and dinner, but admitted, "How do we do it? I'm kind of not sure." That quote now reads like a confession that they weren't managing it at all. They were trying to convince themselves and the world that they could balance everything, when the reality was their marriage was quietly collapsing. The custody arrangement reveals more than any public statement could. Nicole gets the children for 306 days per year. Keith gets 59 days. Keith, their father, will have his daughters for roughly 2 months out of every year. That's less than 20% of their time. Why such a lopsided arrangement? Several possibilities. Keith's touring schedule makes equal custody impossible. There are concerns about his ability to provide stable care. His addiction history looms large. Or maybe Keith knows his lifestyle isn't compatible with primary parenting. The parenting plan includes language requiring both to not speak badly of each other. That protective language suggests lawyers anticipating conflict and trying to prevent the girls from being caught in whatever tensions exist between their parents. The financial terms reveal this wasn't impulsive. This was carefully orchestrated over months. Both waived spousal support. Each keeps assets in their own name, including copyrights and royalties. This suggests a prenup was in place from the beginning, but here's the revealing detail. Keith has prepaid all child support obligations owed to mother. That means Keith made a lump sum payment covering whatever child support would have been calculated, eliminating ongoing monthly payments. This takes weeks or months to arrange. Keith signed the parenting plan August 1st. Nicole filed September 30th. That's nearly 2 months where everything was settled, but neither made it public. Why the delay? Strategic timing. Maybe they wanted to get through summer with their daughters before disrupting their lives. Whatever the reason, this divorce was a planned exit, executed with the precision of 2 people who've learned to manage public perception through decades in the spotlight. The most unsettling aspect is realizing how much of what we saw was carefully constructed fiction. In 2024, at her Netflix series premiere, The Perfect Couple, Nicole said, "You're heading for trouble if you consider yourselves the perfect couple. I'm not a believer in perfect." Was she already thinking about divorce? Or just being honest about cracks nobody else could see? In December 2024, she described their routine but admitted, "How do we do it? I'm kind of not sure." That uncertainty suddenly sounds like someone admitting they don't know how to make their marriage work anymore. Compare that to what we saw publicly. The May ACM Awards appearance, the June anniversary posts, the image of a couple who'd overcome everything. All of it was performance. By the time Keith posted that anniversary tribute, he was likely already in discussions with lawyers. By the red carpet in May, they may have already decided it was over. In 2016, Nicole told CBS about Keith abandoning a Nashville concert and flying 6 hours to California when her father died. That story became part of their legend, Keith as devoted husband who'd drop everything. But that version of Keith apparently couldn't sustain the marriage long term. Nicole Kidman's silence following her divorce filing speaks louder than any statement. There's been no tearful interview, no social media explanation, no attempt to control the narrative beyond cold legal language. Keith Urban has also remained silent, continuing his tour schedule as if nothing changed. He'll walk on stage, perform his hits, and give fans the version of himself they've always seen, without acknowledging his marriage just imploded. The worse than we thought part isn't that they're divorcing. Celebrity marriages end constantly. The devastating part is discovering the marriage we watched in 2025 was already dead. Every anniversary post was a lie. Every red carpet appearance was acting. Every public declaration of love was maintaining a facade while lawyers negotiated custody percentages behind closed doors. They saved each other once. Nicole intervened when Keith's addiction threatened to destroy him. Keith flew 6 hours to be with Nicole when her father died. They built a life that looked sustainable, resilient, and real. But somewhere along the way, between touring and film shoots, between time apart and conflicting priorities, between public image and private reality, they lost whatever made them work. And instead of being honest, they performed their marriage for months while secretly planning their exit. Was it Keith's constant touring? Was it the mystery woman rumors? Was it simply that two people perfect for each other at 38 and 39 weren't the same people at 58 and 57? The court documents don't tell us. Nicole's silence doesn't explain it. And Keith's continued performances suggest he's not ready to address it publicly. What we're left with is the uncomfortable truth that we never really knew their marriage at all. We saw what they wanted us to see, and when that performance finally ended, all that remained was paperwork filed in a Nashville courthouse and two daughters trying to make sense of why mom gets 306 days and dad gets 59. So what do you think broke this marriage that survived so much? And after watching this perfect couple fall apart while pretending everything was fine, do you still believe in celebrity love stories? Drop your thoughts below, because maybe the real lesson is that we should stop believing what celebrities show us and start questioning what they're hiding.